Hello, welcome to Key Stage 2 Singing Assembly. Today we're listening to the Pavane for a Dead Princess, Pavane pour une infante, défunte, by Ravel, who is a late 19th, early 20th century composer, French. The thing is, what he wasn't was a Spanish composer living in the Baroque period in the 16th century. So it's rather odd that he's written a piece of music for somebody who would have been alive in the 16th century. So this isn't a piece about somebody who's just died. This is a piece about somebody who lived hundreds of years before the music was written. And the style of music, a pavane, is also a Baroque, a 16th century style of music. It's a kind of dance, but you can hear it's not a fast dance. Now, a couple of things I wanted to show you. Let's just pause that there. Here is the costume. It's a real dress from the 16th century Spanish court. And I wanted to show you two things about it. One, it's made of very thick material. You can see that it's almost like we would sort of use for a carpet today, something really heavy and thick. It's not going to be very easy to move in. And also it's absolutely covered in gold thread. So it would have been incredibly heavy. You can see it does right up to the neck. The sleeves come right down, probably just to the tips of the knuckles of the hand. You are not going to be able to move very fast in this. So this is the kind of clothing that people were wearing at Spanish court in the 16th century. And the Spanish court was particularly famous for being very proper and very tied up with lots of rules and regulations of how you could behave. And so when Ravel, living at the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century, started writing this piece of music, it was almost like he was writing music for a fairy tale, for the olden days, rather than a real historical person. A pavane is a very slow and stately dance. It involves walking forward, turning, curtsying, bowing, walking backwards. There are no fast moves, and you can, again, looking at that costume, you can see why that would be not easy to dance in. Here's the other thing. We've been talking a bit about timbre, about that individual quality of different instruments and how you can recognize them. Now, I'm going to put this piece of music back to the beginning and just talk you through some of the timbre that you're able to hear, so I hope you can hear this okay. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start, you will hear the French horn, that wonderful curly brass instrument. You know, it has the great big bell at one end, and you know, it's much bigger than a trumpet, but the sound is quite soft and gentle. It's much gentler sound than a trumpet, which has quite a hard sound. Have a listen. Its timbre is different. Here we go. And then that sound of the trumpet, which, of the French horn, which is so soft, brings you into the other wind instruments. So next, we're going to hear a cor anglais, which is a kind of oboe, and hear how that tune is taken up by the cor anglais from the trumpet. It hands it over. So a bit more French horn first. Very gentle strings, just cellos, violins, violas, just supporting it underneath. It's really the French horn that we're listening to. There's the cor anglais. It's a slightly brighter sound than the French horn, isn't it? It's a reeded instrument. It's made by two reeds, and you blow, which causes them to vibrate to make the sound. And then it's handed over to the clarinet. which is a slightly warmer sound. Can you hear that? Listening to all these different timbres of the French horn, the cor anglais, and now we hand over to the strings. But again, rather than giving the tune to the first violin, which would be the usual thing, it's been given to the cellos, which is extraordinary. Now, the next thing I want you to listen to is the variation in dynamic. Remember how loud or how quiet this piece of music is. It's really interesting to see how the music isn't just loud or quiet. It sort of swells, almost like somebody breathing in and then breathing out. And so it has a very beautiful, here's a good word, organic feel. It just feels part of nature, okay? Just have a little listen. You can feel that, almost that breath. It's very gentle. And now we have flutes. So this is a wind instrument, but a wind instrument that's made out of metal. Playing with the cor anglais. So we're mixing two timbres to get the particular colour of sound that we want. You know how I hate just stopping a piece of music. I've got to fade it out, otherwise it hurts. So can you spend the rest of your music assembly having another listen to this, seeing if you can create some drawings, see if you can use colour and shape and line to represent that organic feel of the music, the different timbre of the French horn and the cor anglais and the flute and the strings. Enjoy.